Get out!
Hello tankers and tankettes, welcome to One from the Files. This is my ace tanker replay in the Tiger. This is an 810 replay and it's on Halluf. Now we've heard that in one of the upcoming patches the Tiger is in fact going to get a bit of a nerf, which is unfortunate because it's been, it had, to be fair, it did have a really big buff when they did buff it, which was a good few patches ago now, but they've decided it's a bit too good these days, so it's going to get a bit of a nerf. They were talking about doing a bunch of nerfs in the 9.1 patch, but it looks like that is going to be set back a bit, and they're actually going to, in their words, in Wargaming's words, they're going to do it in a more systematic and understandable way, and they're going to do it in a slower paced way and explain what they're doing and why they're doing it, rather than just rolling out a whole series of changes to a whole series of vehicles, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. If it makes it easier for the user base to understand, then that's fine. But it's gonna maybe make the Tiger a bit less fun to play, because it went from a mediocre tier 7 to actually really quite a fun vehicle. And I think one of the reasons they did buff it was the fact that it's such an iconic tank, and yet in game it was so thoroughly, is mediocre the right word? Lackluster, maybe? I mean, it was not especially... a lot of people joined the game clearly expecting the Tiger to be fantastic and OP, and just were left thoroughly disappointed. And that's just partly that's just the nature of matchmaking, it's the nature of the balancing in the game, but it still maybe had an influence on wargaming. Anyway, this is a match where I'm top tier. I'm a top tier heavy. The matchmaking is incredibly favourable, but the team not so much. So normally this would be where you'd go in a top tier heavy. This you'd go right round that corner and you'd sit there and you'd duke it out. But I have got practically no support. I've got a tier 5 medium and a tier 4 light tank as my backup. So, bearing in mind that we have got artillery, they've got artillery as well, so this is a more or less artillery safe spot. Where I'm going to spot the tanks coming around the corner is not artillery safe for them. We don't have any tank destroyers really sniping across, so I'm not getting any support that way. I am pretty much relying on my own gun, my own rate of fire, and artillery support. And if they just end up rushing us, but they took the bait. They took the bait, and they're not trying to push around this corner. They're just sitting here trading shots with the Tiger, which, with the reload it has at the moment, even with the... I'm recording this, you know, as of 9.0 being out. It's a really nice machine, and it's one where actually this is entirely possible. Now you see that T-34 was not really far back enough. That's the VK down. 12T I'm not really going to worry about, and yeah, there's artillery. The enemy Tiger is there, however, and, well, he's got the top gun, so he's going to be as good as me. Oh, T-25-2. That's right, you just miss entirely. I am gonna... I mean, these have to be snapshots, though. If I sit and aim really carefully, I've got to minimise my chance of actually getting shot. And that Tiger's not paying attention to me. And there's artillery. So I'm just having to do snapshots, taking advantage of their inattention. He's looking my way. Yeah, again, snapshots. But it's more important that I spot these people for artillery than I actually hurt them myself. If I can hurt them myself, that's good. That bounced, unfortunately. Now the AT2 has come to help me, but the problem with this particular tactic, I mean, it's quite iffy. If they rushed me, then yeah, but you can see here there's not really that much room for many tanks, so this is almost a desperation tactic. This is a my team's not very good, so I'm going to have to try something silly tactic. Now I take a shot from the Tiger, but I'm still doing alright health wise. I've done quite a decent amount of damage already, 1200 just about, well, 1150. I just need to damage this guy. And that was kind of lucky. That was aimed slightly above, and it just went slightly down into the top of his turret. So he's now nearly dead. And I can see a bit of his tank, but yeah, that's never going to work. I mean, come on, that's never going to work. Now, I don't know why the 82 is just... he's right in the way. I can't I've either got to drive all the way around him or somehow squeeze past. Oh, there we go. M44 finishes him. And yeah, fortunately, our artillery players were on the ball. They were really, really doing their thing. They were the M44 especially was. I couldn't have done this without the artillery players. I don't think it would have been a lot harder. Oh, there's an ARL, and I track him. Okay, no, that's fine. He's tracked. He's not going to get away. Now I went round here because I thought there's 12Ts still there. He might just be spotted. Yeah, I just bounced on an ARL, by the way. I thought that I could catch somebody unawares, because if I go around the corner and there's something there spotting me, there might be a bunch of artillery that's pre-aimed. And the enemy team don't have many tanks left at this point. Despite the fact that our team was really camping very, very hard, we've actually still... What does that say about the quality of the enemy team, that we just mopped them up so easily? So, there's a Churchill, he takes a shot and I get the killing shot, which is nice. And 1900 damage. You know, I've actually... This was kind of a desperation move. Oh, there's artillery. But it actually paid off really well, and I think it was more the fact that the enemy team was just not... Oh, very good. And IS, who was there, like, he was up at this corner the whole time, or I don't even know, but that's like the first I've seen of him, basically. First anyone's seen of him. Anyway, he's tracked, and I can just... just leave me alone, artillery. Just leave me alone. I get the kill. Yes, there we go. Over 2k damage. Nearly, well... I was going to say nearly 2.7, but no, it's closer to 2.6. Anyway, let's get down off this slope. We'll actually just fast forward it here, because that's pretty much it. The artillery are left, the Nashorns are left, but it's unlikely I'm going to get there in time to do any damage. You never know. But it doesn't seem likely, because I've got to get up this slope, and yeah, there's the Nashorn, and our team have found them. So we basically rolled over these guys, but if I hadn't been there on that corner, this might have been a very, very different story. It's hard to say exactly, but because there was no support there, and most of our team was just camping, even though most of their team was pretty bad, if the few members of their team that had been actively moving around and doing stuff, their tier 7s, this could have been a different story. So yeah, I mean, looking at the scores, it does seem kind of one-sided, but it might have gone one-sided completely the other direction. So I don't know. If I hadn't been there, who knows how that would have gone. Anyway, that was my Ace Tanker game, and that's all it was. You know, it was a nice game and it was Ace Tanker, but I didn't get any other medals or anything. I think the reason it was Ace Tanker was because I did, you know, 2.7k damage, 5 kills, but I also got 1500 spotting and assistance damage from basically spotting for artillery, but I think also shooting that IS in the tracks. I think 1 or 2 people shot him as well, but most of it will have been artillery spotting, so that was quite nice. And yeah, 1342 base XP. When you're a top tier heavy, actually that's pretty decent. And I was kind of surprised to see that with only that amount of damage, but I suppose the damage plus the spotting plus the kills, you know, it all adds up. So there we go. It was kind of unexpected that that was going to be my Ace Tanker game in the Tiger, considering how good the Tiger is these days. But then it's kind of unexpected that I would get nearly 1350 XP from being top tier. Normally, to do really well in a heavy like that, you either have to do a lot of damage, or you have to be shooting stuff that's higher tier than you. And that's that's the best way to get lots of XP. But no, somehow in that match the game decided that it was gonna, I was gonna do well out of that, and I'm not gonna complain. So if you enjoyed this replay, you can hit the like button, you can leave a comment below, you can subscribe to my channel, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.